Good morning. Hello. Good morning. How are you all? Yes, I know that some of you were affected due to the adverse weather, right? I know that actually some of you informed me. Hari, okay. Okay, Tesini. Hari. Turn on the videos. So today I just wanted to type the message that it is compulsory to turn on the videos, but since some of you are affected, maybe you have poor connections yet, right? And some of you may haven't settled at your homes yet. I didn't send that message. But from next week onwards, just try to turn on all the videos. එහෙම කියලා අද පුළුවන් අයත් off කරගෙන ඉන්න එපා. පුළුවන් හැමෝම on කරගන්න videos. මේ affect වෙලා තියෙනවා කීප දෙනෙක්ම in the classes, not only in this class. I think you all can help. In my case, I can share the past recordings that I have on the lessons. FB post එකකුත් share කළා ඔයගොල්ලන්ටත් දාන්න කියලා, not only with the students that are in my classes, with any student I am ready to share those, right? ටික දෙන්න පුළුවන් දන්න අයට කියන්න. You also can help as much as possible. If you are not affected, be happy, be thankful that you are not affected when majority of the country was affected badly like that. You saw what had happened. Showed us the uncertainty of everything. Within few seconds, everything get destroyed. Therefore, we have to help the others as much as possible. ඔගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් දේවල් වලින්, especially the notes. හරිද? ගොඩක් අය the students get mentally down sometimes since they lose their educational materials. ඒක නිසා share them as much as possible with the others. හරිද? පුළුවන් විදිහට ඔගොල්ලන්ගේ තියෙන දුන්නා කියලා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒකේ මුකුත් හානියක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තවත් ඒක බ්ලෙසිං එකක් වෙනවා මිසක්. ඒ නිසා share them as much as possible regarding the other subjects also. මට recordings දෙන්න පුළුවන්, but I don't have notes. I have this type of tunes no. ඉතින් මම දැන් උදේ ක්ලාස් එකේ එහෙම කිව්වහම one of the girls said that she can share all the notes. ඒ කියන්නේ එයා complete කරපු notes තියෙනවනේ. එයා ඔක්කොම එවන්නම් කියලා කිව්වා. එයාගේ grade එකේ ඒවා. ඉතින් ෆොටෝස් අරගෙන එවන්න එපා. ඒකත් ලොකු කමිට්මන්ට් එකක්. ඒ වගේ ඔයගොල්ලොත් පුළුවන් විදිහට කරන්න. දැන් අදත් සමහර අය join වෙලා නැහැ. ගිය සතිවල කොහොමත් ගොඩක් අයට connection issues and due to the floods most of the students were unable to join. එතකොට අද join වෙච්ච අයට join වෙන්න බැරි වෙච්ච අයට බලන්න කියලා ඔන්න දැන් ඉවර වෙච්ච ක්ලාස් එකේ මේ වෙනකොට note එකේ එවලා තියෙනවා. ළමයි එහෙම හිතනවා. ඉතින් ඔයගොල්ලන් එහෙම කරලත් ඇති. දැන් මේ වෙනකොට ඔයගොල්ලොත් එහෙම කරලා ඇති. පුළුවන් හැම දෙයකින්ම උදව් කරන්න. හරිද? It is a very great help for them, right? ඒක මේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන දේවල් වලින් පුළුවන් විදිහට දේවල් දෙන්න, කෑම බීම දෙනවා ගොඩක් අය. හොඳයි ඇඳුම්. And we have to give the good stuff, right? හොඳ දේවල් ටික තමයි දෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද ඒගොල්ලන් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් ඔයගොල්ලන් සමහර වෙලාවට ආසම දේ දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නත් හිත හදා ගන්න ඕනේ නේද? මොකද ආසම දේවල් නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් නැතු වෙලා ගියේ. හරිද? ආස කරන දේවල් sometimes the lives of the family members නේ, their houses, තමන්ගේම ගෙදර එහෙම බලාගෙන ඉදි කැඩිලා යනකොට ඒ නිසා ඔයගොල්ලොත් හිත හදාගන්න පුළුවන් තරම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කැමතිම දේවල් ටිකක් හරි ඩොනේට් කරන්න. අර හැමෝම දෙන ඒවාට අමතරව දැන් අද මම පෝස්ට් එකක් දැක්කා පුළුවන් නම් ටොයිස් අර ලස්සන දේවල් පොඩි ළමයි කැමති දේවල් තියෙනවානේ. මේ hair accessories ඒවා වෙනුත් පුංචි හරි සතුටක් මේ වෙලාවේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හිතවලට දෙන්න පුළුවන් නිසා ඒ දේවලුත් හරියට ඒවා බෙදන තැනකට බාර දෙන්න. හරිද? It's a big help for them to overcome the mental situation as well. නේද? අර it becomes a great shock for them. ඒ නිසා ඒකෙන් අර ඒ ෂොක් එකකින් පොඩ්ඩක් හරි එළියට එන්න පුංචි දරුවන්ට පුළුවන් දෙයක් ඔයගොල්ලන් ළඟ තියෙනවා නම් දැන් ඔයාලා සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ නැහනේ පරණ ටොයිස්. පරණ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැති දේවල්. ටොයිස් එහෙම තියෙනවා නම් සමහර වෙලාවට පාවිච්චි කරන ඒවා වුණත් කමක් නැහැ. පුළුවන් නම් එහෙම දෙන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට. ඕකේ ඊළඟට නෝට්ස් වලින් උදව් කරන්න. right educational materials. අර ළමයි පාරයිනේ තියාගෙන පොත් එහෙම වේලනවා දැක්කනේ. It is a big loss for them. So they need our help at this time. කරන්න මටත් සයන්ස් ටික නම් මම රෙකෝඩින්ග්ස් ටික දෙනවා මේ තව නෝට්ස් ඉල්ලුවොත් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගෙන් උදව්වක් ඉල්ලන්නම් එතකොට just share your notes right so I can send them those notes and for the other subjects also if they make a request I will let you know. Hari and if you were affected now some people have faced floods for the first time in their lives. නේද? කවදාවත් ගම් වතුර ඇවිල්ලා නැති පැති වලට ඇවිල්ලා තිබුණා. ඉතින් don't be discouraged by those. Accept those as challenges in life, right? The challenges make a strong personality. නිසා ඒක challenge එකක් විදිහට හිතලා ඒකෙන් වැටෙන්න එපා. මානසිකව ඒක ශක්තියක් කරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න. හරිද? එහෙම badly there were no students who were badly affected අර ගොඩාක් affect වෙච්ච ගම්පොළ පැත්තේ girl කෙනෙකුත් හිටියා but luckily they are safe but there are so many individuals in the country who were badly affected. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එහෙම කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා නම් අර mental shock එකත් ගොඩක් අයට තියෙනවා කවදාවත් එහෙම වෙලා නැහැ මේ සැරේ එහෙම වුණා. කොට එහෙම යාළුවෝ ඉන්නවා නම් පුළුවන් තරම් හිත හදන්න ඈත පළාත්වල කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් විදිහට උදව් කරන්න කතා කරන්න හරිද දේවල් ෂෙයා කරගන්න මේ පැත්තෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන් හැමදේම කරන්න ඔයාලට හරි I think so we'll start the grade 11 work though I told that we will do the first and third lessons together that's since some of the students can't join even today I just thought of not starting the third unit. Next week we'll do that, right? So since this is a biology lesson, they can manage once they watch the recording even. So the first lesson is based on living tissues and the government schools, they will be started on the 16th, right? They have mentioned like that. So we don't know about the term tests yet. Some of you may have faced the term tests and got even the marks. In some of the private or international schools, especially private schools, right? And they may have mentioned the dates for the term tests. You have to remember the grade 10 stuff. And the other thing I noticed less participation, less කියන්නේ ටික දෙනෙක් අඩුයි කියලා දැක්කා in the paper class. If it is due to a financial issue, just let me know. හිමීට මට කියලා. It's okay. මම එහෙම ඕන තරම් අවස්ථාව දෙනවා. හැබැයි you have to let me know on the 16th. Okay, Janudi. 16th itself. හරි. මොකක් හරි financial issue එකක් නිසා නම් paper class එකට join නොවෙන්නේ just let me know. හරිද එතකොට කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ දැන් මම මේ ක්ලාස් එකේ ඔයගොල්ලන් grade 10 class paper class එකේ link එක grade 11 අයටත් යවනවා they can join free of charge ඒ වගේ I can help so just let me know because joining the paper class is very important වෙන උදේට නැගිටින්න කම්මැලිකමක් නිසා නම් ඒකට නම් මට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ හරිද අනිත් මට කරන්න පුළුවන් උදව්ව කරන්න පුළුවන් එහෙම if anyone is not joining due to a financial issue just let me know right that is very important because you are getting prepared for the exam in another 1 year. Then school timetable එක මොනවා වේද ඒ කියන්නේ school year එක they had planned no මෙච්චර දවස් ගාණක් පාසල පවත්වන්න ඕනි කියලා decide කරලානේ dates fix කරන්න first term එක මෙච්චරයි. එහෙම දැන් මේ because of this unexpected incident these things were changed, so we don't know about the next year. Then exam dates උත් announce කරලානේ තිබුණේ. ඉතින් natural disasters happen. ඉතින් අපි December වලට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා it is very important to write the answers for the questions. You should know how to write an answer in order to get marks. ඒක මට කියලා දෙන්න වෙලාව තියෙන්නේ basically in the paper class එකයි. I am conducting a separate paper class. Therefore it is I can say it is essential to join it. Then only I can guide you in the proper way to build up an answer. Other term test paper එකක් discuss කළේ මම කිව්වේ උදේ දැන් ඊළඟ සතියේ ඉඳන් අපි ආපහු O level past paper questions වලට යමු. Then you will get a good exposure to those questions. How to write an answer. So ඒක අහගෙන ඉඳලත් බෑ. First you have to write the answer. Then when we are discussing you can learn the things. මම මෙහෙමයි හිතුවේ හැබැයි මේක මෙහෙමයි ලියවෙන්න ඕනේ because I am discussing the answers according to the marking scheme. හරිද? So that is something essential. එකත් හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. Though you learn the theory part, the way you express your answer is very important to get the marks. To decide whether you get the mark or not. ඒ නිසා ඒක හරි වැදගත්. හරි. ඊළඟට the other thing now you are asked to study the things on the day itself, right? You have to revise this today itself. ඒක ගිය අවුරුද්දෙත් කළේ නැත්නම් ඔන්න you have got the last chance from today onwards. And when we discuss the things today within 2.5 hours, just take half an hour for you, about 45 minutes, take today itself and revise the things. Otherwise, you have a lot of stuff to remember. This first unit is somewhat lengthy, second unit is a small one, third unit once again lengthy, then fourth one about waves, and fifth lesson once again lengthy, geometrical optics. ඒ වගේ figure පාඩම් කීපයක්ම තියෙනවා in grade 11. Therefore, you have to revise these. In the sixth lesson, you have to learn about all the systems in the human body. You have learned about the reproductive system in grade 10, and all the other systems are taught in grade 11 6th unit. ඉතින් ගොඩාක් දේවල් තියෙනවා මතක තියාගන්න. ඒ නිසා you have to do the work today itself. Other than කතා කළා ඒ ටික මතකේ තියෙනවා. Then you have to revise, underline, highlight or make a short note according to your way. You have to revise it anyhow. Then in another 2-3 days you have to take the previous things and just revise faster. තැන් වලින් මතක් කරගන්න. එහෙම කරගෙන යන්න නැත්නම් මහා ලොකු අම්මෝ මම පාඩම් කරලා නැහැ දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ කියන තැනට එනකන් ඉන්න එපා. කාලේ යනවා වේගෙන්. මොකද 6 වසරට ආවා අවුරුද්දක් ඉවර වුණා. දැන් 11 වැඩ පටන් ගන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ වේගෙන් කාලේ යනවා. So make the maximum use of it. ඔයාලට හරි ලේසි වෙනවා exam when the exam is close by if you have revised the things on the day itself. ඊට පස්සේ papers කරද්දි මම කියලා දුන්නා ඔන්න checklist එක හදා ගන්න හැටි කියලා දුන්නා. Write all the topics and in front you have to keep columns. And once you study a particular subtopic, you can put a tick in front of that. And that checklist is a must. Then the other thing, when we discuss the questions in the paper class, මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? You find that you have forgotten certain things. So just note them down in a separate place. And after that you have to take these topics and revise. ඒ විදිහට ඔන්න එක එක විදි වලින් මතක් වෙනවා පරණ දේවල් තනින් මතක් කරනවා. So that is very efficient. Right? It is an effective method of remembering the things. Your time, the efforts you make are not wasted then. හරිද? තනින් මතක් කරගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ. එතකොට checklist එක හදාගන්න, make a timetable of your own. I gave these instructions earlier. How I am going to allocate the time today. Now today is Saturday, so after the class I have this class, the other class. Class you have to find a time to revise the things by your own. Not only for science, for the other subjects you have to practice like that. And you can allocate more time for the subjects that you feel that you have to allocate more time as well as attention. එම හදාගන්න ටයිම් ටේබල් එකක් ඔන්න අලුත් අවුරුද්දක් පටන් ගන්න යන්නේ. ඒකට හොඳ ප්ලෑන් එකකින් වැඩ පටන් ගන්න දැම්මම විභාගයේ ලබන සතියේ කියලා කියනකොට ලෑස්ති වෙන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ. ඕකේ? හරි. නම් ඒ විදිහට කරගෙන යන්න. ඔව් මේ ටික තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. තව මතක් වුණොත් කියන්නම් මැදදී. Right. So you have learned about the organizational levels of an organism in grade the grade 7, right? Organizational levels of organisms, starting from the cell, then the tissues, cell, tissue, organ, then the organ system, and finally a complete organism. These are the organizational levels of multicellular organisms. Hari, the blank is the basic structural and functional unit of life, that is the cell, right? It is the basic structural and functional unit of life, and you have learned about the cell theory as well. You will learn more about tissues in this chapter. So tissues are formed by the combination of a number of cells, right? A collection of cells make a tissue. Hari. So let's see. What is a tissue? So you can say a tissue is a group of cells, and they have a common origin. And you have learned about the cell division and cell differentiation. So after fertilization, there is a single cell, right, which we call as the zygote. Then zygote gets divided by means of mitotic cell divisions to make a cluster of cells, which we call as the morula. Then the cell number of cells increase further. So this is a cluster of cells. Then these cells get differentiated into, we'll say, neurons, the nerve cells, muscle cells, blood cells, muscle cells, there are skeletal muscle cells, then the smooth muscle cells, the cells in the heart, cardiac muscle cells, likewise, they get differentiated further. If we are going to define, then blood cells, red blood cells, blood tissue, blood tissue. So if you are going to define the term tissue there, it is a group of cells which have a common origin. They have a common origin. They have been originated from the same place. Common origin, and they are adapted to perform a specific function or functions. Right? Blood tissue has a specific function or many functions. Regulate body temperature, protect our body from pathogens, right? The platelets in the blood tissue are responsible for the blood clotting process, so they have a specific set of functions. The muscle tissue is responsible for making the movements in the body by means of contractions and relaxations. Likewise, a tissue is a group of cells which have a common origin, and they are adapted to perform a specific function or functions. And shall we define the term tissue? You can say it is a group of cells. It is a group of cells having a common origin, which is adapted to perform, which is adapted to perform adapted කියනද අපි කියමුද specialized කියලා, which is specialized, which is specialized to perform, which is specialized to perform specific function or functions, specific function or functions. Specific function or functions. Right. So in the first part of the lesson, we are going to discuss about plant tissues, right? So there are different types of plant tissues. Here, to observe a plant tissue under the optical microscope, here they have taken a thin peel of lower epidermis of a beetle leaf. So you have written the steps to be followed. Ne? The grade 10 wala. What are the steps to be followed? Lower epidermis of a beetle leaf, thin section of a potato tuber, and thin cross section. Here, this is the potato tuber. This is the lower epidermal peel of a beetle leaf, and this is a thin cross section of a plant like balsam, Pudalu. Right. Prepare temporary slides using above plant materials. Observe them under the microscope. Try to identify the tissues formed by cells with the help of your teacher. Hari. Write down the steps to be followed in the preparation of thin peel of lower epidermis of a beetle leaf. Hari. Now I will share the video related to that. So you have to summarize and let me know what are the steps to be followed. Right? So how to obtain a epidermal peel from a leaf? Beetle අපිට මෙතන හොයාගන්න නැහැ. So observe. Rohio leaf is also possible since they have natural pigments like
specialized spores found at stomata are specialized spores found at the surface of leaves and other parts of plants. They play a major role in gaseous expansion. They're also one of the major routes which transpiration takes. Annual transpiration about 50 duration. Stoma is surrounded by a pair of specialized parenchymas shaped thermals called guard cells. These cells control the opening and closing of the stoma. They open when the guard cells are turgid, close when they become flaccid. The wall of the guard cell is turned towards the stomatal floor, while the wall away from the stomatal opening and closing is surrounded by a chain of physiological events within the guard cell, leading to the concentration of sugars and other solutes. Stomata usually remain open for daytime. Stomatal opening and closing rests will study full method, leaf peel method, varnish. This experiment will need the following: fresh green leaf, tweezers, staining solutions, saffron, light green, choppers, flat light cover slips, compound light microscope, quick drying glue such as super glue or transparent leaf. For the leaf peel method, in the experiment by taking a fresh leaf, hold the leaf in one hand, over the surface. Partially break the leaf by folding it like so. Gently pull the leaf blade towards you. This maneuver is performed correctly. Observe the thick surface. Immediately detach a fragment of the epidermis using a place it in a glass like drop of water or staining dye. Cover the leaf with a cover slip. Observe the mic. With the varnish method, make a fresh leaf. Apply a small amount of silver glue or nail varnish lower surface of the leaf like so. As the glue gently dries, gently pull it off the leaf. Place the peel on a slide in a drop of water and cover it with a cover slip. Sure to avoid any air. Observe the slide under the microscope.
Now, can you write down the steps to be followed? Note down the steps. So it is not essential to add a stain. Even you can observe the onion peel. That activity I have seen earlier. එකතායි තියෙනවා. And watch that also. Because they ask, you are asked to write down the steps. The procedure to be followed in 3 steps අන්න එහෙම අහනවා. I will share another ones. So they are using a pigment, they are saffronine. Saffronine is the pigment that they are using. Now write down the steps quickly. Hari, can you tell me the steps? Abhi ahamu. What are the steps that you have written? Coco, turn on the videos on the then I visible, Anita invisible vela. Yes. Yes, Chaneli, what did you write?
Take a leaf and slowly tear the leaf and get a tissue. Put it on a glass slide with a drop of water and covering it with a cover slip and observe on the light.
Okay, I will mention there are certain adjustments to be made, right? I will mention later on. Yes, Janoth, did you write? Yes, Janoth. Liwat puti. Hello, Janoth. Janoth tumama henwada. Janoth, did you write? Sechita. Yes, Sechita, did you write? Oh, yeah, Henanda. Mic is working. Yes, Sechita. What's wrong? Ranu.
Take a leaf and read it carefully and
Okay, what about the drop of water? හරි. අපි add කරමු. තව කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද any other volunteer? No volunteers in grade 11, right? ඉන්නවද? ඉන්නවනම් හොඳයි. Yes. Denuri after a long time. Did you write Denuri? කියන්න බලන්න.
So that they transfer to the
Then you have to mention the rest of the steps as well. They are much more detailed. එතන විස්තර වැඩිපුර කියලා තියෙනවා දෙනුරි. සමහර අය අඩුවෙන් කියලා තියෙනවා. Yes, Akshaya.
Take the leaf and peel it, and after that separate the section of the surface of the leaf. Allow the pain in the both sides and watch the front of the side.
Okay, I will mention now. You all can get the things corrected. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ සමහර points add කරගන්න, සමහර ඒවා අයින් කරගන්න වෙනවා. Okay. So you can say obtain a thin. Then here we are observing the lower epidermis, right? Lower epidermal peel of a beetle leaf. Lower epidermis or upper epidermis, both are okay. In the case of rohio leaf, we are obtaining the lower epidermal peel, right? Because it is more colorful. So you can say obtain a thin epidermal peel from the beetle leaf. Maliyan onan. Obtain a thin epidermal peel from the beetle leaf. ඊට පස්සේ transfer it into a watch glass containing water. Transfer it into a watch glass containing water. Why do we add it into water? Here the watch glass contains water, so you have put the epidermal peel into water. Because we need to avoid drying off of the cells, right? Sometimes instead of water, in some of the cases they use glycerin also. As I mentioned, repeat karanal. Obtain a thin epidermal peel of a beetle leaf. Then second step, transfer it into a watch glass containing water. Transfer it into a watch glass containing water. Then take a glass slide and mount the specimen on a drop of water. Take a glass slide and mount the specimen on a drop of water. Take a glass slide and mount the specimen on a drop of water. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද කරන්නේ? අනිවාර්යෙන් කියන්න ඕනේ දෙයක්. Cover the specimen with a cover the specimen with a cover slip. Cover the specimen with a cover slip without allowing any air bubbles. That is essential. Without allowing any air bubbles. Cover the specimen with a cover slip without allowing any air bubbles or gas bubbles. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ then you can say observe it under the low power of the microscope. Observe it under the low power of the microscope. under the low power of the microscope. හරිනේ? ඔන්න විදියට you can write down the steps. If you are adding a stain, here when we are mounting it on the glass slide, you can add the stain. So instead of the drop of water, there you can use a drop of the stain. Saffronine, there are different pigments that you can use. ඊළඟට after covering තව practically කරන දේවල් තමයි after covering with the cover slip, the excess liquid should be removed by using a blotting paper or a paper serviette. එතකොට ඒක අර වටේ ඇල්ලුවාම වැඩි වතුර ටික උරා ගන්නවා. එහෙමත් practically we can do those. හරි. It is observable that different cell types are present in living beings and similar cells are arranged together. Similar cells are arranged together. I will show you some videos later on. Hari. Now we are going to discuss about the classification of plant tissues, right? So here you can see prop root of banyan, or stilt root of pandanus, or stilt root of rampe. You have seen we can see the root outside the soil, the prop roots of banyan, as well as stilt roots of rampe. මේ මෙහෙම තියෙන්නේ rampe නැත්නම් තව තියෙනවා වැටකයා කියන්නේ pandanus. Right? Observe the external view of the growing tips of the above roots. Use a hand lens to observe them. So when we observe the tip of the root, we can see that there is a difference there than the other parts. We can identify the nature of growing root from the above observation. Growing part is soft and light colored. Right? The growing part is soft and light colored. අපි බලමු මොකක්ද the growing part, and this is the root cap. Mature part is rough and dark colored. This is because of the nature of the tissues available, nature of the cells. Hari. So this is the microscopic view of a longitudinal section of such a root. Longitudinal කියන එක මම කලිනුත් කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. Longitudinal section and cross section කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. So this is if I cut it like this, it is a cross section or a transverse section. මෙහෙම. Right? If it is cut like this, it is a longitudinal section. මෙතන දීලා තියෙන්නේ this is a longitudinal section of the root. Region AA dash has cells with the ability of cell division. This region has the cells which have the ability to divide. Right? They can divide and the growth of the root occurs. Right? Region BB dash contains different cell types that are different in nature from cells in region AA dash. Hari. Now we can divide the plant tissues into two groups according to the ability of cell division. The cells which can divide are known as meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues. Right? Then those who don't have the ability to divide, these are known as permanent tissues. And now here AA dash represents meristematic tissues. BB dash represents permanent tissues. Right? ඔන්න ඔයාලට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතන කියලා තියෙනවා permanent tissues can be found in the region BB dash and meristematic tissues in the region AA dash කියලා. එහෙනම් we can say the meristematic tissues and the other type is permanent tissues. Permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. හරි නේද? Classification of plant tissues. ඔන්න ඕක හොඳට හිතේත් ඇඳෙන්න ඕනේ. ප්‍රශ්න ඇහුවාම this chart should be in your mind. We will divide plant tissues into two categories. Plant tissues are divided into two categories based on the ability to divide. One is meristematic tissue. And the other type is permanent tissues. So this classification is based on the ability to divide. Based on the ability of cell division, right? Then based on the location, the meristematic tissues are of three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem, and the intercalary meristem. Apical, lateral, and intercalary. Apical meristem, then the lateral meristem, and the intercalary meristem. Right? Then the permanent tissues are divided into two categories based on the cell type. Right? When there is only one type of cells, we call it as the simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissues, and the other type is complex permanent tissues. They contain more than one type of cells. Complex permanent tissues. Then simple permanent tissues are of three types, right? The three types of simple permanent tissues: parenchyma. Parenchyma, on the right correct spellings. Then collenchyma. And the other type is sclerenchyma. Then here, complex permanent tissue is of two types: xylem and phloem. We have to discuss all about this. හරිද මේ තුජ? තුජ කල්පනා කරන කවුරු මේ නම් දැම්මද කියලා. නේද මේ තුජ? Finish writing. Still some are having connection issues, right? So actually I also faced in the middle of the week, actually there was no rain, no thundering, no floods, but there was a connection issue. එහෙම ඒවත් වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ සමහර වෙලාවට people scold the internet providers. Actually they also are helpless, right? Towers එහෙම කඩන් වැටුනහම ඒගොල්ලන්ට බැනලා වැඩකුත් නැහනේ. Hari. Everine. Then we'll move on. So we will move on to the simple permanent tissues. නෑ අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා කතා කරලිමු meristematic tissues ගැන. Meristematic tissues. Hari, I will show you some of the plant tissues, how they are visible. You can just have a look at this.
Also called as multicellular organism. In multicellular organism, similar kind of cells look in a specific tissue to perform particular functions which support the efficient functioning of organism by providing diffusion of labor. Examples are blood, etc. The next level of organization forms organs combining different tissues. Examples: root, stem, leaf, etc. There are two types of plant tissue. First one is meristematic tissue, which has dividing cells. The cells are very active, have dense cytoplasm and distinct nucleus to carry out division. They have thin walls and easy to divide. They are small or no vacuum and do not need to store anything for long. According to their location, there are three types of meristem. Principal meristem is present at the root and the shoot apex and is responsible for the plant height. Secondary meristem is present at the base of leaves and nodes. Is present in sides of the stem and increases the girth of the stem. Another type of plant tissue is permanent tissue. How are these formed? Older meristematic tissues, which lose the ability to divide, get differentiated to permanent tissues. They are again of two types: simple, which are made up of same type of cells, and complex, which are made up of different types of cells, but performing the same function. Now, on the basis of adaptation in cell structure and their function, simple permanent tissues are further divided in three types. Number one, parenchyma, again, has three subclasses. Parenchyma has oval cells with dense cytoplasm. They may or may not be intact. The ones with chlorophyll are called chlorenchyma and help in photosynthesis. Some have peristasis and are present in aquatic plants for buoyancy. They are called as parenchyma. Parenchyma are found all over the plant body and help in storage, photosynthesis in some, and giving buoyancy in some, for example, aquatic plants. Number two, collenchyma are polygonal cells with thickened corners. They provide flexibility to plants so that parts can bend without breaking. For instance, they are the petiole, stalk, etc. 3 is sterile chyma. These are dead cells with low protoplasm. They have thick cell walls and the cell lumen is lost. The main function is to provide mechanical support. They form the hard covering of seeds, jute, wood fibers, and husk or coconut. We discuss simple permanent tissue. Let's know more about complex permanent tissue, which is made up of more than one type of cells. Xylem and phloem are complex tissues. Yet they are called as vascular bundles. Xylem is made up of mostly dead cells, which are tracking vessels, fibers, and xylem parenchyma, which is only living cell type. Xylem's main function is to distribute water and minerals from roots to upward parts of plants. Other than this, xylem also provides mechanical support to plants. Fluid is a conductive tissue with mostly living cells, which are very to companion cells, fluid fibers. Seed tubes are the main conducting cells, which are supported by companion cells for their function. Fluid fibers give support and parenchyma stores food. Fluid conducts food in both directions. There are special protective tissues also present in plants. That is, outer covering of the roots, their roots, and called as epidermis. Epidermis protects the inner parts from injury, excessive loss of water, and infection from microbes. Some epidermis cells get modified to root hair in the roots to absorb water and minerals. Root hair are so tiny that they are able to reach between the soil particles. On the other hand, in leaves, lower epidermis has opening called as stomata for exchange of gases and transpiration. In trees, as the stem grows older, the outer layer becomes compressed and dead. It forms cork or bark of a tree. This is made up of dead cells without intercellular spaces and have deposition of suberin to prevent water loss. It is formed by secondary meristem and replaces the epidermis.
How do histology and histopathology differ from each other? Histology is the study of cells and tissue of animals and plants, whereas the histopathology is the study of diseased tissue, and it is an important tool in anatomical pathology. The diagnosis of cancer is done by histopathological examination of samples.
Okay, so we will discuss about the meristematic tissues first. If you want, you can have a 2-minute break and come back. That we will discuss until 30. විනාඩි දෙකක break එකක් අරගෙන ඉක්මනට එන්න. Hari, let's start. The videos on karanako. Hari. So we will discuss about the meristematic tissue, right? Meristematic tissues. They have this tissue consists of cells which have the ability to divide actively, right? These cells have the ability to divide actively. The tissue with cells that divide actively by, what is the type of cell division? Yes, the number of cells increases. That is, the type of cell division is, oh, mitosis, neither. By mitosis. To produce new cells are called meristematic tissues, right? On a definition, with cells that divide actively by mitosis. These cells are not differentiated. A cluster of cells. They are not differentiated. They are not differentiated. The growth of plants take place due to activity of meristematic tissues. Hari. So, as examples, once again, examples here, we don't need to write the types of meristematic tissues. We can say height of the plant. Height, the diameter or the girth increases. Diameter or the girth. වටප්‍රමාණය ගහේ වටප්‍රමාණය වැඩි කරලා දෙනවා, right? Diameter or the girth of the plant increases. ඊළඟට තව කියන්න පුළුවන් growth of roots. Growth of roots. Not only the shoot system, this is applicable for the root system as well. Girth කියනවා, breadth කියන එකත් හරිනේ. Breadth වටප්‍රමාණයට. So what are the features of these meristematic tissues? Important. This tissue consists of small sized living cells. Living cells are there. No intercellular spaces. Intercellular spaces means the spaces among the cells. Here there are spaces in between the cells. These are the spaces. Here there is a space. These are the intercellular spaces. So among the meristematic tissue cells, there are no intercellular spaces or they are not that prominent. There is a distinct nucleus in each cell. There is a distinct nucleus in each cell. Absence of a large central vacuole. Normally in a plant cell, you know, there is a large central vacuole. But in the case of meristematic tissues, they have given the prominence to the nucleus and the large central vacuole is absent. But small vacuoles may present. Small vacuoles may present. Right? Then since they actively divide, since they divide faster, they need a lot of energy. For that, they have large number of mitochondria. They have large number of mitochondria, right? These are important features related to the meristematic tissue. On the මතක තියාගන්න. Central vacuole is not that prominent. හරි නේද? Then meristematic tissues are present in specific locations of the plant. They are of three types. They are ඔන්න මෙතන අපිට පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා number 1 කියලා දාමු අපි. Apical meristem. ඔන්න මෙතනින් ලියන්න apical meristem. Apical meristem. Then the lateral meristem. On the sides, you can find the lateral meristem. Then these are known as the nodes. Nodes කියලා කියනවා මේවට. Right? Nodes. In between the nodes, we can find the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem. දැන් අර බැම්බූ වල එහෙම හොඳට පේනවා නේද nodes මේ වගේ තියෙන්නේ එතකොට these are the nodes so the distance in between nodes will be increased by the intercalary meristem මේ nodes දෙකක් අතර තියෙන space එකට අපි කියනවා internode කියලා හරිද nodes මේක මෙයා node කිව්වොත් මෙයාත් node එතකොට in between two nodes we can find the internode right number 3 intercalary meristem හරි shoot apical meristem මේ තියෙන මෙතන shoot apical meristem මෙතන අපි root එකක් පෙන්නලා නැහනේ shoot apical meristem gives rise to මොකටද මොනකටද leaves flowers right shoot apical meristem gives rise to leaves and flowers the apical bud develops and it increases the height of the plant as well. Root apical meristem gives rise to roots. Then we will mention the occurrence as well as the functions of the three types of meristematic tissues. Right, you are given a table like this, type of meristematic tissues and the functions. First we will mention about the apical meristem. Right, apical meristem. The occurrence, shoot apex, root apex as well as the axillary buds which develop into branches. Right, root apex, shoot apex as well as the axillary buds which develop into branches. So they increase the height of the plant and the length of the internodes also, increase the height of the plant. Internode එකට බලපාන intercalary meristem. Increasing the height of the plant. Then let's consider the intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is located at nodes. Actually, this is available only in monocots, right? At the base of nodes and leaf blades, we can see. Especially these are available in monocots. Even in the leaf blades. Then the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. So they are available laterally in the stem as well as the root, increasing the girth or the diameter of the plant. So this is available especially in dicots, right? Laterally in roots and stems. As an example, we can take the cambium tissue in dicots. Cambium is available only in dicots, right? When we mentioned about grafting, we mentioned that only the dicots are used for grafting because the combination is made in between the cambium tissue. So the cambium is available only in dicots. Cambium tissue in dicots. So we can just draw and show the occurrence of the cambium. If we consider a cross section of a plant stem, so the outermost part is known as the cortex, innermost part is the pith, and we can see this is a cross section. CS can cross section of a dicot stem කියලා කියමු අපි. Dicot stem. මෙන්න මේ දෙක මැද්දෙන් මෙහෙම තියෙන්නේ. මේ තියෙන්නේ these are the vascular bundles. Vascular bundle එක දැන් මම මෙහෙම ඇන්දොත් එකක්. මෙන්න මෙහෙමනේ ඇන්දේ දැන්. එතකොට this innermost part is the xylem. This is the xylem. ඇතුළට වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ xylem. Xylem. Outermost one is the phloem. එළියෙන් තියෙන phloem එක. Phloem. And in between you can see the cambium. මෙයා තමයි cambium. This is available only in dicots. මෙයාට මැද කොටසට කියනවා pith කියලා. PITH. And the outermost part is known as the cortex. ඉඩ නැති හින්දා මම මේ හරියෙන් ලියන්නම් cortex. Yes, finished. Have you finished? එවරයිනේ? හරි. Let's move on then. නම් ලියනා ඉන්නවද? Shall I clear the things? Yes, Akshaya, Sneha, Samindi, Metuja. What is the middle of the stem? It is the pith. P-I-T-H. P-I-T-H. Pith. The outermost part is the cortex. Avindya, are you still drawing? ඉවරයිනේ. හරි. Permanent tissues. Then we mentioned about meristematic tissues. So the classification, the criterion is the ability to divide. Meristematic tissue cells can divide, but the permanent tissue cells cannot. Right? Hari. So permanent tissues, a specialized tissue that lost its ability to divide. Lost its ability to divide and perform particular function. In meristematic tissues, thus the cells get divided in mitosis or meiosis කියලා අහනවා. Always the cell division takes place for the growth of a plant or any other thing, growth of an organism. The cell division type is මොකද්ද? Mitosis, right? Meiosis takes place during the gamete formation. හරි නේද? එහෙනම් when the cells divide, this for the growth of a plant, it is by means of mitosis. The permanent tissues have lost the ability to divide as well as they are specialized to perform a particular function. Okay? Do this activity to identify different types of tissues in plant stem, pumpkin, Tridax plant stem, a glass slide, a microscope. Tridax දන්නවනේ? Do you know Tridax? ඇති ඔයාලා ගෙවල් වලත් ඇති ගෙවල් වල කියන්නේ පැල කරන එකක් නෙවෙයි. That is that automatically grows. Tridax. මෙයා දන්නවනේ? Tridax. මෙයා තමයි you may have seen in the lawns. This yellow color thing. And you know pumpkin. Hari. Pumpkin or Tridax plant stem and a glass slide, a microscope. Observe the cross section of above plant stem using a microscope. Right? So here you can see identify the different tissues types present in them. This is the cortex. Actually, the outermost part is the epidermis. Inner to the epidermis, we find the cortex, and this middle part is the pith. And where this මේවට අපි කියන ඒ නම එතන ලිව්වේ නැහැ නේ අපි වැස්කියුලර් බන්ඩල් කියලා. හරිද මේ සයිලම් ෆ්ලෝයම් ඒ දෙන්නගේ එකතුවට අපි කියනවා වැස්කියුලර් බන්ඩල් කියලා. හරිද වැස්කියුලර් බන්ඩල්. මෙහෙම තියෙනකොට this is known as the vascular bundle. එතන ලේබල් කරගන්න පුළුවන් vascular bundles කියලා. හරි. එතකොට now we can classify the permanent tissues. අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලත් classify කරලා පෙන්නනවා. Now we'll write the criterion. Permanent tissues are of two types, simple and permanent. Sorry, simple and complex. That is based on the number of cell types. And in simple permanent tissue, there is only one type of cells. Permanent tissues, simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. So in the simple permanent tissue, there is only one type of cells, right? Contains only one type of cells. And the complex permanent tissue contains different types of cells as well as tubular structures. Types of cells and tubular structures. Right? Then the simple permanent tissue, it is divided into three categories depending on the shape of the cell and nature of the cell wall. Right? This is of three types: parenchyma, sclerenchyma, and collenchyma. That is based on the shape of the cells as well as the nature of the cell wall. Then complex permanent tissue is of two types, xylem and phloem. Once again, the types of cells as well as the functions are different. Types of cells and the functions are different. මේ ඔය ගමම මතක තියාගන්න තව එක සැරයක් බලන්න අද දවසේ. The tissue is composed of similar cells, simple permanent tissue. According to the shape of the cell and the nature of the cell wall, three types of simple permanent tissues can be identified in plants. They are, you can write the three names once again, spellings මතක හිටින්නත් එක්ක ආපහු සැරයක් ලියන්න. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Then we will take one by one and see what are their features. හරිද? erased. හරිනේ? parenchyma tissue. The tissue that forms the soft parts of the plant body. Soft parts of the plant body. Even in the fruits, we find majority of them are parenchyma. Then it acts as a filling tissue, the empty spaces. They don't keep empty spaces inside the plant body. So these spaces are filled with the parenchyma tissue. Or cortex, pith කියලා කිව්වේ ඒව වැඩිපුරම තියෙන the parenchyma cells. Parenchyma tissue, this is the most abundant tissue found in the plant. මේව underline කරගන්න. Most abundant tissue found in the plant. So we can just here you are shown the cell wall, intercellular spaces and the nucleus, a cross section and a longitudinal section. මෙතන අපිට ඇඳලා පෙන්නන්න පුළුවන් එකක්. So the cell wall, and we can see the nucleus as well as a vacuole may be present, right? Nucleus, and in between the cells you can see there are prominent intercellular spaces, right? In between the cells you can see the spaces. Now we can label the cell wall. This is the cell wall. Then this is the nucleus. And this is an intercellular space. So the features of the parenchyma tissue consists of living cells, very important. Living cells are there. Cells are isodiametric, that means this spherical shape, sphere, spherical, with large central vacuole. This is the longitudinal section. Nucleus is present peripherally. In the cytoplasm, why? There is a vacuole. Therefore, the nucleus is located peripherally. Right? The nucleus. The cell wall is thin cell wall, and it is made out of cellulose. Intercellular spaces are present. We have shown. Onno features mataka tiyaganna, because in the MCQ, sometimes in the second paper, you may be asked about a comparison in between those. Therefore, these features are important. Hari neda janindi? හරිනේ ඔන්න මං ඉරෙස් කළා ඊළඟට locations of parenchyma tissue. We will mention the locations of the parenchyma tissue. This is available in the cortex and pith of the stem as well as the roots. අපි එහෙම වෙන වෙනම ලියමු. එතකොට it is easy for you to study. Stem. In the stem we find them in the pith and the cortex. ඉස්සෙල්ලා root ලියන්න කියලා හිතාගෙන හිටියේ ඒක පිළිවෙලකට පටන් ගන්න. ඉස්සෙල්ලා root ලියමු. Sorry. Root, pith and the cortex. And also stem, pith and the cortex. And also in leaves, right? In the leaves, I have given a cross section of a plant leaf. එතනදී මම පෙන්නනම් image එකෙන්. In the leaves, there are mesophyll cells, right? Mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells consist of two types of cells. the photosynthesis occurs inside those mesophyll cells. So, in mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells කිව්වහම spongy parenchyma and palisade parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma, both are included there when we say mesophyll cells. Palisade parenchyma. Right? Then if we consider the fruits, parenchyma tissue is available in the seeds as well as fruits. Fleshy parts of fruits. As well as in the endosperm of the seeds. Endosperm කියන්නේ inner to the seed. Just inner inside the seed there is the endosperm. Seed එක ඇතුළ. Endosperm of seeds. These are the locations of the parenchyma tissue. ඊළඟට in addition to these aquatic plants වල have you observed a lotus petiole එහෙම නැත්නම් blue lily petiole, blue water lily, lotus වලත් තියෙනවා අර blue water lily නැත්නම් water lily ඕලු නිල් මානෙල් ඒවා අර petiole එක නටුව බලලා තියනවාද මොකටද නේද ඒවා බලන්න අර මල් පූජා කරනකොට හරි අර when you remove the petiole have you felt that spongy nature ඊළඟ දවසේ හම්බුනාම බලන්න ඒකේ තියෙනවා there are spaces අර ස්පොන්ජ් එකක් වගේම තමයි මෙහෙම අර කඩනකොට චරස් ගාලා right there is a spongy nature so these are a special type of parenchyma known as aerenchyma. There are more air spaces in between the cells to give a buoyancy for the plant. ඒ නටු මල උඩට පාවෙන්නේ කොහොමද? Because of the buoyancy of the petiole. Petiole gives the ability to float. The leaves, flowers both float on water because of that. හරිනේ? ඔන්න erase කළා. Objections තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න මොකද ආයි ගන්න බෑ. හරිනේ මෙතුජ? ලියනවා තාම? හරි okay. Hari. Then the functions of parenchyma, photosynthesis, palisade and spongy mesophylls in the plant leaves contain monad within chloroplasts. Monad chlorophyll, the pigment is there. within the chloroplasts. Right? Therefore, they have the ability to photosynthesize. Photosynthesis, palisade and spongy parenchyma. In plant leaves contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll within chloroplasts. Photosynthesis takes place within these mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells. Then food storage. Food is stored in some parenchyma tissues and they are called storage tissues, right? Storage tissues. In some of the plants, you know, the roots store food. In some of the cases, the fruits. In some of the cases, the tubers. Right? As examples, we can say tubers. Example, potato. Fruits. In some of the cases, taproot stores food like carrot, beetroot, evage. Lateral roots store food in sweet potato, manioc, right? Carrot, sweet potato, keldamu. Fruits. Well, කැමති fruit එකක් ලියා ගන්න. Papaya. ඊළඟට banana. Then storage of water, especially xerophytic plants, the ones which are grown in hostile environments. Xerophytic plants, plants store water in parenchyma tissue. Examples, aloe vera. Aloe leaves, the leaves are very fleshy, bryophyllum, akkapana. Cactus, cladode. Cactus, the stem has become fleshy. They have stored water in the sometimes maybe in the form of latex. Kiri vidiyata tiyenna puluwan. Right? So that is also done by the parenchyma tissue. Providing support. Herbaceous plants, spalati, herbs. Herbaceous plants like balsam absorb water into vacuoles of the parenchyma cells. Thereby the cells become turgid and provide the mechanical support to the plant. When there is lack of water, the plants get withered because the turgidity of the cells is lost. Then giving buoyancy to aquatic plants, that is by the parenchyma in lotus, lotus tatvada, lily, water lily, right? Water lily. Then I have given a section of a leaf, right? The uppermost part is the cuticle. So cuticle may be available in some plant leaves only. Waxy cuticle to protect minimize the loss of water by means of transpiration, right? That is the cuticle. Then the uppermost layer is the epidermis. If a cuticle is not there, the uppermost layer is the upper epidermis. Then the lowermost layer is the lower epidermis, right? Lower epidermis. Lower epidermis, upper epidermis, cuticle. Just inner to epidermal cells. In the epidermal cells, we don't find chloroplasts because inside the chloroplast there is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs the energy of light. So if they were available in the epidermal cells, sunlight will not penetrate into the inner parts of the leaf. Therefore, these chloroplasts are available in those mesophyll cells, which we call as like teeth, that is palisade mesophyll or palisade parenchyma. Spherical shaped ones, these are spongy mesophyll cells or spongy parenchyma. Right? And you can see there are a lot of air spaces in between the spongy mesophyll cells. In the lower epidermis mainly, upper epidermis there are stomatal openings. Stomata, which are made by It is an opening made in between two guard cells like this. මෙන්න මේ වගේ guard cells දෙකක් මැද්ද තියෙන opening එකක් තමයි stomata කියලා කියන්නේ. Right, stomatal pore. Or stoma කියලා කියනවා. These are the guard cells. මේ bean shaped cells are there in dicots. Guard cells. Guard cells. හරිද? ඔන්න stomatal openings, through them air enters, as well as gaseous exchange, as well as the transpiration also takes place through stomata. Then the gases reach these cells. Here vein is shown. Veins divide into veinlets, and they provide water for the cells to carry out photosynthesis. හරි නේද? That is all about parenchyma. ඊට පස්සේ අපි යනවා collenchyma වලට. Actually, it is a type of a modified parenchyma. Collenchyma tissue provides the mechanical strength and support to the plant body. අපි මේ නම දීලා තියෙන්නේ මෙතන කියනවා they are modified parenchyma cells කියලා. This they are modified parenchyma. එතකොට මේ නම දීලා තියෙන collenchyma නම මතක තියාගන්න ලේසි. The corners of the cells are thickened. Corners of the cells are thickened. මේ පෙන්නලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ corners are thickened by extracellulose. Extracellulose has been deposited. දැන් මෙහෙම ගත්තොත් if this is the cell, දැන් තව මෙහෙට cells තියෙනවා මෙහෙම. Right? එතකොට the corners are extra thickened by the deposition of cellulose. මේ නිසා තමයි we give the name collenchyma. Right? Collenchyma. Okay? Consist of living cells. ඔන්න මේවත් living parenchyma living, collenchyma living. Sclerenchyma වලට එනකොට non living. Cell possesses a cytoplasm, nucleus, and a central vacuole. As usual. Vacuole, nucleus, cytoplasm ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. Generally, cells are elongated in polygonal in cross section. මෙන්න මේ shape එක තමයි polygonal කියලා කියන්නේ. Polygonal in cross section. These are elongated cells in a longitudinal section like this. මේ තියෙන්නේ elongated, දිගටි. So here you can label the parts. Another nucleus, vacuole, cytoplasm, thickened corner. So this is the cell wall. The corners of the cell walls are thickened with extracellulose. Make it cellulose my තියෙන්නේ ඔන්න. Cellulose. Intercellular spaces may present or may not present. The ඉස්සෙල්ලා parenchyma නම් since these are spherical, මෙන්න මේ shape එක isodiametric හින්දා intercellular spaces were present. But here, since these are polygonal, the intercellular spaces are not that prominent. මේ shape එක නිසා. එහෙමනේ වෙන්නේ. Right? There is no space to have the intercellular spaces. හරිද? හරි. Parenchyma locations are given. Cylindrical tissue inner to the epidermis of herbaceous stems. දැන් ඔය මොනර කුඩුම්බිය, කුප්පමේනිය ඒ වගේ and even the large plants that grow as large trees when they were small, they get the support from this collenchyma tissue. In the veins of dicot leaves, we find collenchyma. Functions: support. Collenchyma provides mechanical support to dicot plant stem before the formation of wood. Right, as I told, provides mechanical support to herbs. Palatiya kale support එක දෙනවා. This tissue provides support to the plant leaves by collenchyma in the veins, right? Collenchyma in the veins. The veins of leaves, there are collenchyma. Photosynthesis. Chloroplasts are found in the collenchyma of immature dicot stems. පැලෑටි වල කඳ කොළ පාටයි නේ. If we consider a small mango plant, there also the stem is green in color when it is small. So photosynthesis is carried out by those cells. Then finally the sclerenchyma tissue. So this sclerenchyma is of two types, fiber and sclereid කියලා. Fiber and sclereid. Cross section of fiber, within longitudinal section of the sclerenchyma tissue. These are the sclereids. This tissue has two types of cells as sclereids and fiber. අපි කෙන්දි කියලා කියන්නේ. දැන් කෙන්දි සහිත ආහාර කියලා කියන්නේ food containing fiber. We mentioned green leaves, vegetables, fruits කියලා. So they contain this sclerenchyma. Sclereids and fiber. Sclereids and fiber. These are dead cells. මොකද වෙන්නේ? In those cells, on the cell wall which was made of cellulose, a substance known as lignin gets deposited. Once the lignin is deposited, what happens? The permeability of the cell wall is lost. You know, cell wall is a fully permeable membrane. So it allows the passage of the molecules in and out of the cell. But the cell membrane just selects them. So when lignin is deposited on the cell wall, the permeability of the cell is lost. As a result, the cells become dead. Right? So these are dead cells. So inside there is a pit. නිකන් කුහරයක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Pit is there. features. Sclerenchyma tissue consists of dead cells. You can highlight that dead cells are there in the sclerenchyma tissue. Dead cells. Lignin is deposited. Lignin is deposited on the cellulose cell wall. Cells are tightly packed, therefore there are no any intercellular spaces. Cell wall is evenly thickened, and presence of an empty central lumen is there. If this is the nature of the cell, there is an empty lumen inside. Empty lumen is there. So as the locations you are given, fibers present in xylem are called as xylem fibers. අපි xylem phloem ගැන ඊළඟ දවසේ කතා කරමු. And in phloem as phloem fibers. So as examples you are given polkendi, coconut fibers, agave fibers, hana, which are used for clothing, coconut wool, cotton wool, right? Coconut fiber, polkendi and cotton wool are made out of fibers. Coconut fiber, agave fiber, cotton wool are made out of fibers. These are sclerenchyma, right? Then here wrong spellings for sclerades. Sclerades. Endocarp of coconut. Endocarp කියලා කියන්නේ අර පොල් කටුව තියෙන්නේ. අන්නනේ පොල් කටුව. Right? On the outer surface of this coconut shell, have you seen අර කෙඳිත් එක්කම තියනවා තව මට ඒක මොකක්ද කියලා දන්නවනේ අර පොල් කෙන්දත් එක්ක තියෙන තව substance එකක්. අර ඉස්කෝලේට එම් පොල් කටු ගේන්න ගියාම සූරලා අයින් කරන්නේ. Right? That part, that is the endocarp of the coconut. Camphor, kapuru, mango fruits. Even in mango, just outer to the seed, there is a substance. නිකන් අර sand like texture එකක් තියෙන දෙයක්. There is no. ඊළඟට in guava, we find them. Pericarp of guava. Pericarp, you know, the fruit coat. Pericarp of guava fruit and in pear fruit. අර වැලි වගේ texture එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? Sandy texture is there. That is because of the sclerades. ඊළඟට seed coat of coffee and dates. Dates වලත් we can feel that. Coffee නම් අපි seeds වැඩිය අතපත ගන්න නැහැ නේ. උනාට dates, once we eat the pericarp, then we can feel the sandy texture just around the seed. Right? Seed coat of coffee and dates, pericarp of guava and pears, endocarp of coconut, camphor and mango. Right? Endocarp surrounds the seed and pericarp is the wall of the ovary. එකනේ අපි fruit coat කියලා කියන්නේ wall of the ovary. Pericarp is the wall of the ovary. Endocarp surrounds the seed. Then functions: provide support to the plant body and act as a component in xylem and phloem tissue. In both xylem and phloem, we mentioned xylem fiber, phloem fiber. Then there are 4 types of cells in each xylem and phloem. We will discuss about them in the coming week. Hari, before we api complex permanent tissues වලට ඊළඟ දවසේ යමු.
tree to carry out photosynthesis and maintain its overall health, water and nutrients need to move throughout.
මේක අපි බැලුවානේ. We watched this. Then another one is remaining. There are 3 videos related to plant tissues. One.
Tissue is derived from a Latin word meaning to weave. The cells are woven together with extracellular fibers to form the tissues. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to define tissues, list various types of plant tissues, and understand their functions. Define phylum and phloem. Differentiate between phylum and phloem. The various parts of the plant, like the leaf, root, and the stem, are all organs of plants. Like animal tissues, these are also made of tiny units of cells.
We will examine a cell membrane. Take a real leaf and tear it. Look at the edge of the torn part. It is light in color. Now peel the light colored part and put it on a slide. Add a drop of water. If you observe this under a microscope, you will find the cells. We can see the cells with membrane. We'll begin by cutting it into 2 halves. Peel off the thin layer. Spread the thin peel on the glass slide. Put a drop of water on it. Add a drop of iodine solution to it. Place a cover slip on it. Tap gently with a needle on the cover slip to remove air bubbles. Place the slide on the stage of the microscope. Small chamber-like structures called cells can be observed. Each cell contains prominent vacuole, nucleus, and cytoplasm. This beautiful money plant here. This plant is growing month by month at a fast speed. Plants generally grow when stemmatic tissue is present. These are rapidly dividing tissues. They are generally present at tips of the stem and the roots. Some other characteristics of meristematic tissues are meristematic cells are cubical and thin pattern. Each cell has a large nucleus. Cells are closely packed with no intercellular spaces. Depending on the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are classified as apical, lateral, and intercalary. Apical meristem. These tissues are found in root tips and stem tips. They increase the length of the plant. Primary growth of plant, that is, the growth in length of a plant, happens because of apical meristem tissues. Intercalary meristem. They are found between mature tissues. They are
leaves or at the internodes. In grasses and regenerate parts removed by the grazing herbivore, bedstead or cambium. Such tissues are present at the radial portion of the stem or root. Growth or the growth in thickness of a plant tissues. The meristematic tissue can be summarized as follows. Types of meristems. Type, location, function. Apical meristem. Tips of stems and roots. Growth, increased length at tips. Intercalary meristem. Between the tip and base of stems and leaves. Growth, increased length between nodes. Lateral meristem. Stems and roots. Growth, increased diameter.
Now I understand why this banyan tree in your garden is so fat. I mean thick because of the lateral meristem tissues.
Yes, you are right.
In order for a tree to carry out photosynthesis,
Hari. So next time we will discuss about the xylem and phloem. Then we will move on to the animal tissues. but මේ ඉක්මනින් පුළුවන් ටික ඉවර කරගමු. ඉවර කරන අතරෙම ඔයගොල්ලෝ පාඩම් කරන පාඩ එකත් කරගන්න ඕනේ. හරි. Okay then let's stop there for today. Just study the things and if you need any support related to the notes or anything because of the bad weather condition, please let me know, right? Okay. Stay safe and see you on the next day. I can't remember. I had put the schedule. Schedule එක චුට්ටක් බලන්න ඉන්න මතක් කරන්න ඕන. I think I had put a cover up session as well. Give me 1 minute. See that. Yes, for you on 10th Wednesday. So today is 6th, no? Before next Saturday, I have put a session on the 10th Wednesday. That is for both both theory and paper classes. We will discuss a question paper on that day. Right? On a Wednesday, මතක තියාගන්න from 9 to 11:30 in the morning. හරිද? See you on Wednesday then. Stay safe and have a nice day. Okay, bye.